established a quorum. We do have at least 2 board members joining us virtually, but we have also begun in-person learning for our students, so we are so excited to have those babies in person and to have some of our colleagues virtually. With that, we have to have the Pledge of Allegiance. Dr. Michelle Malsby Springer, my former principal, the apple of my eye, if you would not mind leading us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Partner in my success.
All of those things, all of those.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
All right, so we are excited to not only be back in person, but to offer the in-person public participation hour of our first Tuesday of the month board meeting. With that, we have a few parents, teachers, community members who are here to speak before the board. Please know that you all have 3 minutes. If your 3 minutes runs out, feel free to email us later or even come back next month to speak to us. So your 3-minute timer will be seen here. If you have any questions, please go ahead, begin.
All right, thank you. My name is Coach Kevin Walker, and I reside at 1324 7th Avenue North, Nashville, Tennessee, in the 37208 North Nashville, Germantown area. I'm here as a representative of the World Association of Kickboxing Organizations, USA, Team USA Kickboxing. I have a program called Grappling and Striking, GAS USA, which is a fitness, self-defense, and a competition program where I've been dealing with hundreds of kids, working with them here, many from the Metro Nashville area, and just giving them something positive and recreational to do. I've had some great success, multiple world champions, state champions. Many of my kids go on to, many of my public school kids end up getting scholarships to private schools, et cetera. Many of them go on to compete collegiately, have a couple of collegiate All-Americans, et cetera. Specifically where I'm here today is that I really love Nashville, so much so that I got the attention of Team USA Kickboxing with the success that my program was having, and I convinced them to perchance make Nashville their new home. They really liked Tennessee and what we had going on. We were able to win in 2017. We were able to win the bronze medal at the World Games in Warsaw, Poland, which was the first time an American had ever done such a thing. So Nashville came on the radar, and we subsequently had some events here, and we got some legislation passed in 2018, and that would be very friendly to making Nashville the new home here. I'm coming today because I see that there seems to be a problem, particularly in my area code. We've got about 80,000 kids. I think only like 26% of them are reading on level. Looking at statistics with crime in this area, I think we're leading the nation, and that's not a very good thing. So what I'm here to do is propose some type of partnership. The president of Team USA Kickboxing, Rob Zabilski, wants the community of Nashville to know that whatever we can do, we want to help. We think martial arts is one of those types of activities that builds the confidence and the community relationships, particularly not only the physical aspects. We know about endorphins and exercise and all that, but for the mental aspect, it seems like our kids got a lot of stressors, and if we can reduce that, maybe they can study a little bit harder, score better, and we can do something about all of this violence. So that's it. Thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate you.
Thank you. All right, next speaker, Vanessa Barnes.
Victoria Gordon.
Okay, go right ahead.
Hello, I'm Victoria Gordon. I reside in the 37207 district, which is the Parkwood area, and I am a Nashville Propel parent leader. I stand here as a parent of an exceptional learner and had to become his teacher and his behavioral support while he is still adjusting to the abrupt shift with the in-person learning to strictly virtual school learning the entire pandemic. I stand here before you in support of the Personalized Learning Plan, otherwise known as the POP today. I currently have a virtual learner sixth grader who has a passion for science, but is struggling tremendously in reading and math. We were all aware of his struggles far before the pandemic and feel this plan, along with his current individualized learning plan, formerly known as the IEP, can help improve his learning gap. This statement is very true in many households, just like mine, and may vary in various subjects. But this plan will help our individual students succeed overall. It will help identify the students' strengths, interests, and goals, in addition to their needs and their challenges. This plan will also make sure we just don't have a one-size-fits-all approach, but we will help all students, not just mine. This is an opportunity not only to empower parents, but to create a lasting partnership between the school by clear communication strategies and parent trainings. There are a lot of resources the district is getting to help to combat learning loss. This should be one of them as well. Parents like me deserve the opportunity to understand our children's educational journey, no matter what we may find. A district-wide system approach and plan can make this most effective way to do this. So I ask you all for the help to support my family and families just like mine in getting our students the personalized learning plans. And thank you all for your time.
Thank you. All right, next speaker, Sonia Thomas.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Sonia Thomas, and I live on Bell Arbor, and I live in the District 1 school zone. I'm the executive director for Nashville Propel, and Nashville Propel represents parents and grandparents from our most struggling communities who have students who are zoned or attend our lowest performing schools. We have been front and center with our parents and grandparents as they have experienced challenges before and during COVID-19. As we have listened to parents and grandparents and students, we understand how catastrophic this pandemic continues to be. Our children are hurting out here, and we must be intentional about how we address the effects of COVID-19 learning loss. What keeps me awake at night is that there are many children who have given up on their education. Many have thrown in the towel because they feel hopeless and helpless. As many students are returning to school buildings, there are many parents who continue to worry about safety and their children remaining virtual. But one thing that we can all attest to is that learning loss is the unavoidable option that none of us chose. For many months, the parents and grandparents of Nashville Propel have called for all students to be assessed for learning loss and the implementation of individualized learning plans to help our students recover. We have called for a district-wide plan that identifies the students' strengths and weaknesses and sets goals for academic and non-academic success. The plan must be parent-friendly and ensure that parents, no matter their own tech savviness, are able to support their children throughout the academic pursuits. On January the 12th, Dr. Battle announced every student known, with one of the plan's core tenets being a student's dashboard and a personalized learning plan, and a personalized learning experience for all students. Dr. Battle understands that in addition to every student being known, every parent must be heard and every decision must be made together. Dr. Battle, the parents and grandparents of Nashville Propel would like to say thank you. Thank you for hearing us. Thank you for taking action. For too long, Nashville parents and grandparents have been ignored by the school district. For too long, our children have suffered with people in the district doing to instead of doing with. That's why we are excited that the district is starting to act differently towards its families. We're excited that you listened. But our engagement doesn't stop here. it is important that we work collaboratively and that we have a partnership that empowers parents as much as teachers. Thank you, Dr. Battle.
Thank you. Next speaker, Nina Lockhart.
Hello, everyone. My name is Clifton Maya. My address is 505 Antioch Parkway, Nashville, Tennessee, 37013. Well, in addition to that, I want to say I'm a Nashville Propel parent and part of their cohort for their number 7 Parent Peer Fellowship. I support Dr. Battle's plan for personalized learning. In addition to that, I also want to speak on behalf of another friend of mine, Nina Lockhart. She's a mother of 3 boys that all attend MNPS schools. She has a 10th grader, a 6th grader, and a 5th grader. She's navigating their way through virtual learning, and she's witnessing daily learning loss and lack of resources virtually to help these diverse learners. The individual learning plan will help address the disruption of learning loss from the tornado that ravaged Nashville until the current COVID-19 pandemic. Intervention must be created around each student's skill set and help address the disparities across the schools and make reliable data points to generate a mechanism for promoting equitable opportunities for students in MNPS. The individual learning plan will develop partnerships with parents and educators for students' long-term success. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, Tamika Hicks.
Good evening. My name is Yumiko Jones. I am the senior pastor of the Church of the Living God in South Inglewood, 1310 Moneta Avenue. I'm a Nashville Propel parent and a member of the Children's Task Force. And I've come to express my support for Dr. Battle's plan for personalized learning for all students, as I have watched my own children struggle with keeping up with lessons and keeping up with all that is involved with being successful as a student. And each one of them is different, and each one of them has some different challenges. And I believe the opportunity to develop plans for them individually that they can be held accountable to, and that I can be a partner with them to achieve their education. I think it's a great plan, and I'm in support. Thank you.
No, thank you. Next speaker.
Good evening, Chair, members of the board. My name is Leslie Morrell, and my address is 5128 Cochran Drive in Nashville. As stated on the MNPS site, the Reimagined initiative is about improving student outcomes, making our district more efficient, and increasing enrollment to provide a high-quality education to all students. With all of these reasons in mind, I'm here this evening to ask that 5th grade transition to Creve Hall Elementary for the 2021-22 school year. We understand the district has announced plans to transition by cluster over a phased approach, but based on the pilot program at Cole Elementary this past year, it sets precedent that this transition can be successful with individual schools. I'm here as a representative of our community, our PTA, where I'm currently serving as president, but first and foremost, I am the mother of a 4th grader, Bennett, who would benefit tremendously from this decision, as well as all of our 4th graders. As you are all aware, the last 12 months have been extremely difficult on our administrators, teachers, parents, and most importantly, our students. Out of the roughly 165 school days since the pandemic began, our students have been in the classroom for about 25 days. As a 4th grader, this is not enough time to adequately prepare them for the physical and mental transition to middle school, not to mention the loss of learning they've experienced due to the virtual environment. We understand that some schools are not ready for this transition, but Creve Hall Elementary was renovated in 2017, creating the additional space needed. We have 3 classrooms, previously the 4th grade wing, sitting vacant and ready to welcome the estimated 75 5th graders that we would expect to return. Ensuring that we meet the 25 to 30 students per teacher ratio we would need to shift 3 teachers from across the district. Unfortunately, a very small percentage of our students transition to our zoned middle school Croft. While some take advantage of the school choice program, many go to charter or private schools, while some make the decision to leave Davidson County altogether. If the decision is made to move 5th grade to Creve Hall Elementary, we will increase enrollment within the district. I know this because I have over 580 signatures from our community to support moving 5th grade to Creve Hall next year. In the packets you've received, you will see a list of those signatures, comments on how this will benefit our students, and personal letters. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Next speaker. Well, it looks like that ends our public participation for the day. Thank you, community members, for coming to speak with us and engaging us. With that, we will move on to our consent agenda. Do I have any questions, comments, or thoughts around the consent agenda before we vote? All right, seeing none, I would like a motion to accept the consent agenda as listed. Yes, ma'am?
Madam Chair, I move approval of the consent agenda as printed.
Thank you. Can I get a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All right, all in favor? Aye? Or raise your hand, I'm sorry. All right, Dr. Severe, all present have voted in the affirmative. They can't vote.
Can't
Oh,
vote.
he can vote because he's out of county. I'm sorry. One policy that MNPS has not used a lot in the past is that if a school board member is out of county, they can log on for at least 2 virtual sessions. Mr. Little is out of county, so he can vote.
Can you pull up Mr. Little's image? Is he on, Mr. Little, is he on Teams? Oh, okay. Well,
That's all right. All right, so 5 have voted in the affirmative that are here. All right, next we'll move on to the Ethics Committee formation. We had a formal complaint, the first in MNPS history, a formal ethics complaint filed with our legal team. They reviewed it, have decided or have noted that ethics committee policies are only enforceable when there is a conflict of interest based on fiduciary duties. So in layman's terms, around funding. So if a school board member acts inappropriately in a way, or acts in a way that's inappropriate around any type of funding, maybe they forget to recuse themselves for a vote, or have mismanaged or mishandled dollars themselves, then that is cause for the ethics complaint to move forward to the forming of an ethics committee. This particular complaint filed against one of our colleagues was decided to have been without merit based on the Metro Legal's interpretation of the policy. Am I right, Ms. Roberge? We're calling up our Metro Legal team. I'm so sorry if I have flubbed that.
That's okay. It's not that it is without merit, it's just not within the ethics policy. We've not made any determination on merit or truthfulness, just that it does not fall within the ethics policy because it does not reach the conflict of interest issues that you identified.
Thank you so much for that clarification. So what she said. With that in mind, we did have a board retreat this past Friday. It was not necessarily a kumbaya session, but I think we were able to level set expectations as colleagues, as board members who are managing 81,000 students for the whopping $14,000 a year we get paid. We are so excited to continue to do this job. But with that in mind, I will pull this action item from vote because there is no need to establish an ethics committee based on the ethics policy as it's read. With that, we will move on to the director's report. Dr. Battle?
And as we're getting set up for the director's report, just one quick celebration for those of you all who tuned in to the Super Bowl this past Sunday. We did have a previous MNPS student who was represented on the winning team. Previous student Keyshawn Vaughn is a member of the Tampa Buccaneers team. So congratulations to him and for representing the greatness of MNPS on the football field. All right, good evening, board members. I am pleased to give you a few updates on this beautiful day when so many of our school buildings open back up to our students. That is a wonderful thing, And it is possible because the city has continued to make progress in reducing the spread of COVID-19 throughout our community. We had 133 cases reported today in Nashville, and our risk score is at 5.7, numbers we've not seen since we've released the COVID tracker. With significant reductions in our positivity rate and 7-day average of new cases per 100,000 residents since our last board meeting. So I want to encourage everyone, keep it up, Nashville. We need more of it. What you're doing is working to reduce the threat of COVID and helping us to keep on track to give all of our MNPS students who choose the option to learn in person. Thousands of our students arrived back to their classrooms today. Okay, here we go. Thousands of our students arrived back to their classrooms today as we phased in our students with exceptional needs who were identified last semester for in-person learning, as well as our youngest learners in grades pre-K through 4. Next Thursday, we'll be opening our buildings to 5th and 9th graders for the first time since we closed in March last year. We want to give them some time to adjust to their new environment before we start bringing back other students. This will allow for a real 5th grade and freshman orientation. On Thursday, February 25th, all of our middle school students who chose the in-person option will have returned, with the remaining high school students coming to school buildings on March 3rd, after many of them will be coming in on Tuesday, March 2nd for ACT exams. So as we transition to our next slide, I want to just preface that this is a quick glimpse of what it looked like around the district this morning. There we go. I had the opportunity to visit Old Center and Stratton Elementary Schools in Goodlettsville and Madison, and enjoyed seeing so many excited students and energetic MNPS staff members getting back to what they know and love. We have been hearing all day great things from all corners of Nashville and Davidson County. Students came to school before 8 a.m., wearing masks, using hand sanitizer, elbow bumping instead of hugging, and generally keeping their distance as much as possible. I want to thank all the parents who played a part in that, our school principals and their leadership teams, our teachers, school counselors, bus drivers, cafeteria workers, and other support staff were ready to greet everyone after a few months away and then got right down to the business of teaching and learning. It was a great day, and we're looking forward to many more like it. As you all know, we had some wonderful news yesterday with the announcement that our employees will be able to start getting vaccinated very soon, with reservations opening up this week as we follow a prioritized schedule similar to the phase-in schedule for students who are returning to the classroom. I want to publicly thank, again, Mayor John Cooper, Metro Coronavirus Task Force Chair Dr. Alex Jahunger, and Metro Public Health Department Director Dr. Gil Wright, as well as our partners at Vanderbilt University Medical Center for helping to make this happen. And again, thank you to all of our school board members who have also been strong advocates with safety being a priority as we return to the in-person option. Several members of our team here at the district also worked some long hours and weekends to get this vaccination program in place. So thank you to our internal team as well for all of your advocacy and hard work to make this happen for our employees. Finally, this is our first meeting during Black History Month. And I hope you've been seeing the videos by MNPS alumni and students that have been rolling out every couple of days on our website and social media around the theme of MNPS Black Excellence. Keep looking for those videos, and I hope you'll see a familiar face or two, while also meeting some new ones who are doing great things and representing MNPS so well in our community and in the world. Now I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Michelle Springer, our Chief of Student Services. Dr. Springer will be sharing an additional report today regarding our community and the amazing work that she and her team have been leading to equip and empower leaders at all levels, not only in MNPS, but across the city. Dr. Springer.
Thank you, Dr. Battle, and thank you for the opportunity to share about our community. Good evening to Madam Chair and members of the board. It's no secret that our community, made up and comprised of our families, our city leaders, and our city business owners, are the key to our success. Nashville's valued investors in our youth, each wanting the very best for our students, and we have been thankful for the outpouring of support that has been provided to Metro Nashville Public Schools since way back when, and especially starting in March. So this year has highlighted the fact that we can't do this alone. We've got to do it with our community. And our community is invested in cultivating our greatest resource, our greatest asset, our students. And we're thankful for the partnership. In alignment with our signature initiatives, our core tenets, and our focused outcomes, our Partnership Symposium that was held on January the 28th fits nicely within our empowering and equipping our leaders at all levels. And we intend to do just that, and we include our school communities and our community at large in that as well. So I want to take just a few minutes to ground the conversation. We can't do anything without first making sure that we are embedded in our core tenets. So they are re-envision central office as the support hub, creating and supporting engaging, rigorous, personalized learning experiences for all of our students. And as I stated, empowering and equipping leaders at all levels and identifying and eliminating inequities. Again, can't do it without our community. Aligned with that, we want to make sure that we keep steadfast on our focus, on our focused outcomes around literacy, numeracy, social emotional learning, and transitions, as well as executing at high levels with precision on our signature initiatives. Again, can't happen without our community. So for our 2021 Partnership Symposium, for the next few minutes, I want to kind of recap our experience that we had that evening, or that morning. We were able to kick off the second semester with our community. About 300 of our partners joined us for a call to help us to level set around our definition for partnerships. What a fitting time. Again, we can't do this without our partners, and we know that any and all things are possible with them. So we were honored. Dr. Battle led us, kicked us off, of course, grounding us in her vision and her expectation and elevating every student known. She charged us with amplifying our coordinated and collaborative efforts with our community, executing with precision, as well as walking the talk around our core tenets. And based on the feedback, it settled in with our partners. And they've taken off since then and are continuing to chart the way in supporting our schools. So this session was unique in that it's the first of its kind, in that we've collected and we've had all of our partners in one space, one time to kind of reset. In addition to that, we had our student voice team, our Student Voice and Engagement Core Team, as they like to be called, the SVE, to lead this session. So I just want to take just a few minutes to shout them out. I want to say shout out to Candy Mendoza, sophomore at Glencliff High School, Avery Shiffen, junior at Hume-Fogg Magnet High School, Alexis Davidson, who's a junior at Overton High School, London Craddock, a senior at Martin Luther King Magnet High School, Angie Sanchez Flores, a senior at Glencliff High School. If you've never been on a call where you've planned alongside students, community partners, as well as district staff to execute a session, it's quite interesting. You should give it a try. They will let you know if you're getting it right, if you're getting it wrong. All we have to do is listen long enough our students have the right answers. So they led us in the right direction as we planned this session. Throughout the session, our students led some inquiry about getting our voice from our partners and asking about how they define partnership. And I've included a few quotes here. Here's the first one from Mr. Lionel Matthews, our juvenile court clerk, who says, "For partnership, I offer my network, relationships, because we are all in this together." Another was from Rebecca Ackerman from our Big Brothers and Big Sisters. For partnership, she offers bringing together different entities to coordinate efforts to achieve a shared outcome. And lastly, Mr. Wes Bender with Leader in Me and Franklin Covey says that for partnerships, I offer social emotional learning for staff because adults can't take students to a place where they've never been. It was important for us to get feedback from our partners. What does it mean to you to partner? And in all of that, we have our Director of Community Achieves, Allison MacArthur, who led a team of MNPS staff in different departments to kind of finalize our definition for partnerships. And it is as follows. A partnership is an agreement between two or more parties, organizations that are working toward mutually beneficial outcomes. They are community-based, they're family and student-centered, participatory, results-driven, and responsive. It was important that we also included school leaders in this process. It's the school leaders who receive the support and have to do something with it so that it impacts our students, and so their voice was noted here as well. In addition, we identified that we have 4 different types of partnerships within MNPS. So if you're a partner and you're interested and you're listening this evening, please take note. I am certain that you can fall into one of these 4 categories or even multiple categories. So the first one is our anchor partnerships, and that's where our partner supports MNPS with that strategic planning and networking relevant to our core tenets. The second is operational and coordinating partnerships, which provides programming or services focused on our aligned district and student-focused outcomes. So this is about that day-to-day tutoring, right, mentoring, and the like. Co-located partnerships, these are those partnerships that are nestled within the physical building within MNPS. And then lastly, a supporting partnership. They provide volunteer time and financial contributions. All of them are equally as important, serve different roles within our district, and we're thankful for each and every last one of them. In addition, we had Bob Kutcher, who is the Pencil Vice President of Partnerships and Programs, to come and share as well. It's important that we leverage the systems that are already in place for meaningful impact. And he was able to share just some highlights about the work in our community. And as you can see, there have been $1.5 million in distributed school supplies, over $270,000 in distributed resources. And it's important that we have that background check. We want our students safe. We want to make sure that we have a secure environment for our students. So they have assisted us with almost 700 background checks. Those systems really result in that day-to-day impact of our community and our partners. As you can see, I just popped a few here for your viewing. Publix, we thank you for the gift cards that you've distributed to our teachers and our families. Loveless Cafe, we thank you for your food distribution. We have families we know that struggle with transportation and getting to locations, and they were there ready on the spot to distribute, and we just say thank you. Additionally, we know that our students have been virtual. We wanted to make sure that there were opportunities created for them to take virtual field trips and do some virtual job shadowing, and there have been many, almost 100 videos from different entities such as HCA, Healthcare, and Blood Assurance, who have crafted these videos so that our students can have a look-see at that day-to-day real-life application of what they're learning in the school setting. I could go on and on and on. I really want to settle here in that we have about 774 active pencil partnerships. There are many more, but these are those that have registered with Pencil, that structure, that process that keeps us moving in the right direction. Plenty of investment value here, as you can see. over 650,000 as a matter of fact. And then there are new partners that pop up and show up on the regular that have been meaningful in our schools. As you can see, the impact is real. And we left that meeting with a call to action, not only for our partners, but for us as well. Those of you that are listening this evening, if you are interested, your call to action extends tonight. Register with MNPS as a partner so that we can catalog, and we can catalog your impact and support on our schools. 2, I'd like to ask that you attend an intake meeting with Pencil. Right? That meeting will make sure that we get you matched up nicely with your resources and your expertise with a school that is in need. And then 3, I'd like to ask that you log those hours through Pencil Me In. It's critical, right? We have to have a journey, tell a story, and logging our hours helps us to do so. We also ask them to engage now. There are things you can do today. Volunteer through Hands on Nashville, our virtual help centers, our tutoring, our mentoring. We have coat drive donation that our bins are overflowing even for the last few days, so thank you for your contributions. We also have an opportunity for you to register to attend the Deloitte Pencil Summit, as well as just make videos. You heard about the virtual tours and those virtual opportunities for our students. Make some videos about what you do, reading a book, encouraging students, and upload them on Proudly Pencil. So that was our charge when we left our Partnership Symposium. Additionally, we closed with our student voice and engagement team leading our breakout sessions. We wanted them to hear from the people and the people to hear from them. So they asked, based on what you've seen, what you've heard, discuss potential opportunities for our community partners, our students, and our schools to collaborate together. Based on what we've learned, here is our commitment to our partners. We commit to support you with this structure, right, and with our practices. We want to make sure that we leverage a liaison in each school. We want to make sure that you have regular communication with us, and I'll just call out a few. We want to make sure that we engage with you on the regular so that you have updates about where we stand in our reality with our data and what our needs are and how we can support you as well. We want to make sure that we have professional development available as well. For our partners, we want to continue those same supports, and I'll just call out the fact that we have our pencil intake meetings. And what that means is that's a time for you to kind of level set with Pencil, and you can track your investment. You can, again, get matched up with your schools to make sure that you have maximum impact. I want to quickly just return us back. Dr. Battle has charged us in doing so, making sure that everything that we do runs through our core tenets, our signature initiatives, our focused outcomes, and definitely the North Star. Partnership is one way to do that. So here I end with just a few closing thoughts and then a quick video for you to enjoy. I'll say this. The overarching charge for us as a district is to support schools in receiving all the supports that are coming their way. Sometimes it can be a lot. As a former principal, we just had to figure out what is the best avenue, how can we best plug in for maximum impact, and we commit to supporting our schools with doing that. And we know that when we expand our community resources, expand our community supports, we can anticipate improved outcomes for our students. And our students at our Partnership Symposium, our SV team helped us to drive this home. And it really helped to see Dr. Battle's vision in real time. They mentioned how those partnerships impacted them as students even today and over the course of several years. And I think that that's critical. It's every student known, and for sure those who led those sessions definitely feel just that. Here's an example of when we unify as a community, as a school, as parents, and as partners, what can happen.
Had to do with the technology and the kids not knowing how to use the technology and parents not knowing how to use the technology.
Good about getting with us to make sure we have everything that we need to make sure that everything is working correctly. And I think I've received like 6 or 7 contacts in 1 week.
Contacted me, I will actually start logging in more and doing my grades better. My grades will come up a lot.
We made it a point to visit families when the kids were in the building. If they were new to the building, I would go up and always introduce myself. So I continued to do that even in virtual learning. So I still went out to families and we offered our help. We showed them what to do. Some parents were like super surprised, like, the principal came to my house? Sure, I want to be here to help. And who better than me to help you? So it really created relationships.
A lot going on at home. So, what I love about Goodlettsville Middle is there's so many staff that are bought in into making sure that these kids are here in school learning what they need to learn to have better prospects in life going forward.
Team and everybody plays their part, and my part is to build a relationship with students and help those students understand goals and then reaching those goals and how attendance plays into that.
We want to know every child that we serve. When we're in session, we make an effort to greet students. We make an effort to check in on them. So we do the same thing virtually.
Our community partners are extraordinary in Goodlettsville. They have provided a lot of the monetary funding and then a lot of the gifts and things that we give to the kids. Everybody loves Goodlettsville Middle, and I am so grateful and so thankful for that. We wouldn't be able to do all the things that we do. Ice cream socials and popsicles can be very expensive for 600 kids, but they always say, what do you need? And then they provide it. So it's been wonderful.
At the end of the day, we want to make sure kids are learning. So we correlate our attendance with our MAP scores, and that's the exciting part, that kids are actually learning. It's one thing to check in on them and so forth and so on, but we're here to make sure these kids get a great educational experience. So it feels good.
Constant communication. There is constant communication to make sure everything is trying to roll smoothly, because they really are trying to do everything they can to make sure the kids succeed.
I feel good about school.
That's what we get from it. And it brings us back every single day to help another child, to help another family, to help another parent. Every day, that's what we come for. And we love doing our job. We love it. We love these children.
Hear. You want to hear a principal say, I love these children. And you want to hear a student say, I feel good about school. And that's not always the journey. And it doesn't start out like that. And in this case, it didn't start out like that, right? At the start of the school, there were some attendance needs, some academic needs, and this is a testament to when the community bands together with the school. And kudos to this parent who was open and receptive to this support. We know that increased outcomes could happen. In this case, we're talking a 33% increase in attendance. Prior to, the struggle was real. Students' attendance was at 77%. And by the end, with the proper interventions, with the wraparound supports with our communities, as you noted in the video, and the intentionality of the school, the student now has not missed a day in over 2 months. That results in increased grades. So we're going from a few failing grades to none at all, right? That matters. And there are stories such as this that are happening every single day in Metro Nashville Public Schools, and a lot of it is because of our partners, and again, we say thank you. Then I also want to say this, that the reality is not every school has Community Achieves. Not every school has communities in schools, as you noted in the video. And when that happens, right, when we know that we can expand services and supports for our students, we'll see outcomes like that blossom throughout the entire district. So I say thank you, board. I thank you for listening, and also thank you for your continued advocacy. Your advocacy about our budget priorities is key. Of course, they are aligned, Dr. Battle, to our core tenets, our focused outcomes, signature initiatives. But some of the key pieces we know that if every school had access to these, Community Achieves, communities in schools, advocacy centers, family resource centers, and anchor partnerships that really truly get us to move the needle, that our schools will surely continue to be on the right path to success. And again, I thank you for your time, and thank you for listening about our partnerships and our communities in Nashville, Tennessee, public schools. Thank you. With that, I'm turning it back over to Madam Chair and Dr. Bell.
Thank you so much, Dr. Battle and Dr. Springer. With that, any discussion or questions for Dr. Battle and her team? This is a lot of good info. I think we are just as overwhelmed and excited as the rest of the national community. Yes, Dr. Gentry?
I was just going to add, I was going to do it in announcements, but I think it just fits here, that Boy Scouts of America, I think you may be familiar with their Explorers program, is really looking to partner with high schools, with some of our high school students, our 10th and 11th graders. I actually have the names of those 3 high schools written down, not here. So I'll reach out to you and I'll copy the board members because we really need to get the principals engaged. I serve on the executive committee for the Middle Tennessee Council. And so they're really excited about an opportunity to, just the same way that you mentioned, Dr. Springer, in a virtual way, support students' career exploration someone that they can ask questions of and directly to give some career guidance.
Thank you for that. I did have one quick question. When it comes to partnerships, especially the different tiers or levels, how can a community member or a community organization, is it just going to the website and typing in partnerships? Is there a link specific that we should direct community members to?
Dr. Springer, if you could address the question, because the team has been doing a lot of hard work around level setting with partnerships. We want to be abundantly clear that we want strong partnerships. We want to be clear about how partners can connect with us. And we know that it can be frustrating to want to be fully in support, not knowing exactly where to go. And so the team has worked really hard at defining the levels of partnership and how the community can be involved. So Dr. Springer, do you mind responding to the specifics around what one should do if they're interested in partnering?
Absolutely. So first, express your interest, right, through a pencil. So you go to the Pencil website and you will log in and you will request a session for an intake, which are scheduled even right now. There are multiple sessions for anyone. It doesn't matter what we heard even tonight that we have individuals who are interested in partnering, and Dr. Gentry just shared, you just go straight to Pencil and register at that site. And from there, we also have an MNPS registration so that we can catalog your supports and services within MNPS. But step number 1 is to go to Pencil and register.
Thank you so much. So that's pencil.org for community members who want to join and sign up.
Thank you.
Any other questions or discussion? Go ahead, Mrs. Elrod.
Thank you. Mine's not so much a question, it's just a statement. I think it's important to say that Pencil's been around for 15 years. So they've been great partners for us for a long time, and they just recently, get it, Frida? They just recently got to the milestone of providing $10 million of teacher supply distributions to us over those 15 years, and they say that the majority of those have come within the past 30 months. So we really appreciate, of course, not only Pencil's partnership, but Pencil's only possible because of the communities that support Pencil and then support us through it. So thank you so much for this information.
All right. With that, I'm sorry, go ahead, Mrs. Masters.
This felt like a good time to mention, although I was going to save it for advocacy, but since we're talking about Pencil now, that a part of our advocacy here on the board is to talk with our Metro Council members about our budget and budgeting, and I just wanted to be sure everyone is aware that Pencil has never received a direct Metro appropriation before, and they do such amazing work for us, so I think it'd be great if we could let our council members know that we would be very much in support of them considering their Metro appropriation request this year for some additional support for the work Pencil's doing to affect the lives of children.
Thank you so much for highlighting that. All right, be there no further questions, we're going to move on to other reports. We have different committees that are committees of the whole, but that helps us to kind of that allots us time to dig deep into the work of MNPS and to understand how we can better advocate for it. So at this time, are there any committee reports, any recent committee meetings, or for anyone that's set in on some of the national calls or national or statewide calls like TSBA or CLASS or CUBE or any of those? Go right ahead, Ms. Masters.
So I represent us on the insurance trust, the MNPS Insurance Trust. We met on January 27th to discuss just moving forward with continuing to provide amazing benefits for our MNPS staff. I'm always incredibly impressed by the work that we're doing. We receive so many awards for health and wellness for our employees, and I'm really proud that, especially in light of the difficulties we see often at the state level in supporting educators, that we in MNPS are able to offer our teachers these really amazing benefits. So just excited about all of the work that the Insurance Trust is doing and how innovative they are. And we'll meet again on March 23rd.
Thank you for that. Any other committee reports? I will go ahead and note for my colleagues that have not heard yet, we are a member of TSBA. TSBA is asking if we would like to remain a member of the National School Board Association, NSBA. Because it's not something we necessarily vote on, I am inclined to ask TSBA to remain a member of NSBA so that we can maintain our membership with CUBE, which is the Council of Urban Boards of Education, considering that MNPS is one of 4 urban districts in Tennessee. I think having that additional layer of support would be helpful. If you are opposed to that, please just send that to Dr. Severe. If not, at the end of tomorrow, or I'm sorry, at 8 o'clock tomorrow, I will send that email to TSBA asking that we may remain members of NSBA. All right, we'll start with announcements. Dr. Gentry, if Dr. Gentry needs a moment, we can go to Mrs. Tyler. Okay, Mrs. Tyler, if you don't mind, any announcements?
So just kind of a generic announcement that I'm excited that our students are starting to go back to school, and just a reminder to our community that we need to not relax on our precautions and to make sure that we are continuing to follow all of our safety protocols, making sure you're wearing a mask in public, making sure that you're distancing, washing your hands. If we want to keep our students in school, we have to be proactive. So just encouragement to the community to support our schools in the best way that they can by being proactive and safe.
Thank you. Mrs. Masters?
Thank you. So I have a couple of announcements, things I would like to highlight happening in District 3. First of all, we were very excited to have Dr. Battle at Old Center and Stratton this morning, and then this amazing video about Goodlettsville Middle. So I'm feeling pretty proud of District 3 right now. Dan Mills Elementary School will host author Alice Faye Duncan on February 18th as an all-school reads in conjunction with Black History Month. So that's pretty exciting activity. February 9th, Lytton Middle will host their 3rd and final of their virtual open houses, 5 p.m., and you can find the information about that on mnps.org. I attended the Maplewood Academy Showcase on February 4th, where they talked about all of the wonderful work being done in the academies there. There's a lot of crossover with all of these great community partnerships. And I was just really impressed and wanted to congratulate Maplewood on putting on such a great presentation virtually. Also a reminder that February 12th is the deadline for the optional schools applications. And one final thing, another thank you to the mayor for allocating $191 million to our capital needs in MNPS. The largest recommendation ever to come from a mayor in Nashville. So we're really excited about that. I think it's a reflection on the work that MNPS is doing to advocate within the community and ensure that all of our policymakers and leaders understand the benefit of supporting our schools. So congratulations to everyone on that.
Thank you, Mrs. Masters. Mrs. Player-Peters?
Good evening, everyone. I'd just like to remind you that the School of Science and Math at Vanderbilt, 8th graders can apply into that program. I had an opportunity pre-pandemic to go visit that over at Vanderbilt, and it's a really neat school that's program for students. Even if you're not a STEM person, but if you just have a love for science, you can go through a scientific process, work with graduate students at Vanderbilt about putting your own scientific experiments together. So you can contact Amanda Dixon, Amanda.Dixon, Dixon, at Vanderbilt. .edu. That's why you heard the music go off during Miss Elrod's thing. Make sure I had her address right so you can reach out to her. And then also the Choice School. I am biased, but Croft Middle School is a choice school, and they have a great partnership with the zoo. So if you're an animal lover, you can apply to that choice program.
Dr. Gentry. Sorry. Are you ready to go? Oh, okay. Well, I'm sorry. I was Ms. Pooba Walker. Oh, for the announcements.
Oh, you're not going?
No, I was going to wait for Christian in case I have to close.
Okay.
Am I confusing everyone? I'm so sorry.
I'm disoriented, maybe.
I'm trying to go around. Sorry.
All good. Okay.
Sorry.
Thank you. It's all good. I want to start by recognizing Dr. Randy Lowry, who announced this recently, that he is stepping down as president of Lipscomb University. And so Lipscomb, of course, is in District 8 and a great partner. But I also want to, on a personal note, say that, and many of you know this, for many, many years, I have worked with the Latino community and Latino students. And when I taught at Overton 15 years ago, there was no pathway for undocumented students to go to college in Nashville. There was zero pathway for them. And the person that changed that is Randy Lowry. And he opened the door, and not only opened the door to them, but gave them scholarship money. And so Lipscomb is a different place because you go on campus and you see a much more diverse campus and many Latino students. And what he did was he changed the conversation in Tennessee. And so he not only welcomed dozens of Latino students every year, but he threw down the sort of whatever the gauntlet or whatever, and Trevecca did the same thing. And then Belmont felt the pressure to do the same thing. And so now it's not if I'm going to go to college if I'm undocumented, it's where am I going to go to college if I'm undocumented. And that is Randy Lowry's doing. And so I just want to say that is a small piece of his legacy, but very important to so many families in this community. So I also want to thank Mayor Cooper on the capital budget. Hillwood is my alma mater. And so when I was a sophomore at Hillwood, Bellevue High School merged with Hillwood. And my best friends to this day came from Bellevue High School. And so excited to see that happen. Also want to say a huge thank you to Mayor Cooper and Dr. Alex Jengahir and Gil Wright on getting us vaccines for our staff. I'll just say we are the people we've been waiting for. We have to make it happen. And so it happened, and I'm really excited about that. And then I also want to give a shout out to Alora Young, who is the youth poet from Hillsborough, who is now a finalist for the National Youth Poet Laureate. So we're very excited about that and crossing fingers that she gets selected. So thank you. I don't have any idea who's next.
Dr. Gentry?
Okay, that's me. All right, yeah. So, okay. So I just want to just add something else to Dr. Lowry's accomplishments. And Lipscomb was one of the first, he and his wife, to step up and support Operation Andrews, under which is United for Hope, which goes into our schools, into our lower achieving, high poverty schools, provides mentors, provides support. And, you know, even when we made the decision in District 1 to consolidate some schools, and we let them know that they were involved at Lillard deeply, and they said, well, we're not at the school, we're for the students. And so they're committed to follow those students regardless of where they went. And so that partnership and the support that President Lowry and his wife have given through Operation Andrews has made a huge difference for so many students specifically in District 1. And it's been amazing. I just want to give a couple of shout-outs to the football player from Pearl Cone, who, if I had known he was going to be in the Super Bowl, I may have not been mean-mugging Tom Brady the entire time. I mean, it's like he just picks a random team. Hey, you want to win a Super Bowl? I'm coming. Anyway, congratulations to Keyshawn. That's just awful. I'm going to give a shout out to TJ at Maplewood. Throughout this pandemic, if you have been paying any attention to the news, there have just been these random stories that have come out about the program that she has there in the automotive department and what she's doing with females. So there was a big article, an interview of a female student about a month and a half ago, and then there's an article out today. I'm just talking about how the work that she's doing and the number of females that are getting certified in automotive mechanics. And that right now, I think there's like less than, of the 750,000 licensed mechanics, only 2% of them are female. And I'm pretty sure that, 6 of those came through TJ at Maplewood. So I just want to give her a shout out for that. And I mentioned Boy Scouts of America, and I just want to share that I had the opportunity to give the Eagle Scout Challenge to the inaugural group of 21 female Eagle Scouts out of the Middle Tennessee Council. So you'll recall that a few years ago, Boy Scouts of America were required to start to include females in their programming. And so I just want to say, again, congratulations to those. Several of them are students within our high schools, and they did some amazing, very impactful projects to earn their Eagle Scout badge. But if you're ever wondering or questioning, every badge they received is the same badge that every boy has received. There were no corners cut and no accommodations made. And so, again, a big shout out to them, and I would love to see that group diversified a little bit. So whatever we can do to partner in that work and get more individuals involved in that programming would be amazing. Boy Scouts is one of those things that when you go into corporate America and you meet a fellow Eagle Scout, it matters. It matters because people understand what it took for you to receive that honor. So just wanted to share those 3 things.
Thank you. Mrs. Elrod?
You. I apologize for my previous confusion. So first we have 2 joint council and school board meetings that are upcoming, and so I want to make sure that we and the public are aware of them. The first one is on February the 18th. These are all virtual, so participation can be easier for everyone. They are on February 18th at 5 o'clock. We'll be discussing HR. And the other one is on March 11th at 5 p.m., and we're discussing social-emotional learning. All of these meetings are to last an hour or less. There's going to be time for Q&A for council members. But of course, if you have questions or concerns, community members, and you want to send them to us directly afterwards, you're more than welcome to. And we look forward to your participation and learning more about MNPS. Additionally, I, of course, am happy about our big capital needs budget and money that we've received. That's incredible for our schools. And of course, not only is it great for Hillwood and Cambridge, but we have 45 schools that are being helped with our deferred maintenance, which is a huge concern and has been a huge concern of us for a long time. And so we still have capital needs after this, but it's a great step in the right direction, and we so appreciate it. Additionally, of course, I'm happy that we have started schools today and that it's gone well. But I think it's worthwhile mentioning that yesterday we had our press conference about vaccinations for teachers. And so I want to make sure that everyone's aware that we are hoping we're starting vaccinations for our teachers by February the 20th. But remember that is if we have those vaccinations from the state. And so we get about 2,000 additional vaccinations from the state as a city every week. And keep in mind that we as a MNPS system have 11,000 employees. So we want to make sure that we're still providing some conversations with the state on our need and our ongoing need for our full allocation of vaccinations. We should be proud as MNPS that we did a good job using our CARES Act ESSER 1 funds and decided to use them towards our nurses. And because of that, the state allowed us, the State Department of Health, agreed to let us be a part of a small grouping of other school systems that allowed us to have a direct allocation of these vaccinations, and we're very hopeful to receive those. But unfortunately, we have not received a timeline on that. So we really would like our public's help on making sure that we receive those and that there's just common knowledge on we are doing our best. We want to vaccinate our teachers as soon as possible. We know that that is important to continue and have a sustained classroom environment. Thank you.
Ms. Elrod, just to emphasize what you were just stating, so we are fortunate that the district has been approved to be a district site to administer the vaccines once the state has allotments, which is different from hopefully our ability to begin our vaccination process very, very soon. So we still need those state vaccines because it'll help us expedite the number of employees that we can get vaccinated in a timely manner. So the advocacy is still continued, and we're also very thankful for the local leaders who are also helping with us starting the vaccination process.
I apologize for the confusion of thinking the
advocacy
20th
is-
was dependent on that. That is not the case. I apologize.
No, advocacy is definitely needed in that space, but the good news is that we have been approved as a district to administer as soon as those vaccinations are available to us.
I appreciate how appropriate and kind you all are being about this conversation, because I appreciate Mayor Cooper for supporting us, for advocating for us, and for allotting those extra vaccines. I do not appreciate if there is any hindrance to his support. If someone else is stepping in to try to supersede the support of the mayor, I just don't appreciate that. So thank you to the work of MNPS. Thank you all for continuing to collaborate. And really, Mayor John Cooper, we appreciate you for wanting to prioritize our teachers. We hope that the entire state hears that and that it resonates with them, and that they quickly continue to prioritize teachers, because we want to make the best decisions for students, for babies who did not ask to be here. So I have so much more to say, but I won't do that. So thank you, Mrs. Elrod. Thank you, Dr. Battle. Thank you, colleagues. I do want to make an announcement on behalf of Mr. Little, who's out of the county. He asked if we could shout out the parents at Stanford Montessori for inviting him to his first PTO meeting. He also wants to give a big thank you to McGavick Elementary School Principal Covey. Big thank you to the Community of Cheese Rep, Mrs. Frazier, for the work on food distribution. And he is thankful for all elementary school principals for their preparation for back to school. And I think I would echo that we are just really appreciative of all educators. I think we sometimes loosely use teacher or principal, but really every educator is responsible for allowing our students to come back into the building. So thank you for all of your work and your collaboration. Thank you, parents, for continuing to hold us accountable, but continuing to work with us as we make this transition. Again, I want to acknowledge, or better yet, I do need to take us on a bit of a somber note and remember that the entire world is suffering during this pandemic, and we recently lost a child. We recently lost a student to gun violence. But please know that every family involved, every child involved, their lives are changed forever. So our hearts, our minds, our thoughts are with them and with anyone that has ever encountered them, the Utley family, and it's a sad day when you lose a child. I think at this point I've lost about 22 children from when I was a teacher in MNPS, and it doesn't get easier. Education, being an education advocate, being a student advocate is a thankless job no matter where you stand. So just our hearts and minds are with you. And with that, to kind of lift us back up, I do want to shout out East High School Principal Dr. Jamie Jenkins. I had to just mute him on social media, because if I saw him running one more time, I mean, he wakes up and he runs miles upon miles every day. And I think it's amazing because he's doing this running challenge to highlight or to bring awareness to depression and suicide prevention. Between March 5th and March 7th, he will be running 4 miles every 4 hours for 48 hours for a total of 52 miles. Let me say that again. Dr. Jamie Jenkins, between March 5th and March 7th, across those 3 days, he will be running 4 miles every 4 hours for 48 hours for a total of 52 miles to bring awareness to depression and suicide prevention. So whenever I hear that MNPS staff is not going above and beyond to do something for our students, I think about things like this. Of course, I know that you all prepare in the wee hours of the night and in the morning to make sure that students are ready for school, but to go above and beyond in these kind of random, quote unquote, ways to make sure that students have what they need and that awareness is brought to things that they struggle with. We just appreciate you. So please keep him in your prayers, keep him in your thoughts. If you'd like to donate, please just feel free to reach out to him. If you don't have direct contact with, or if you don't have a direct line to him, please feel free to reach out to central office or to me and I can connect you. With that, I want to thank the community for your increased engagement. I've received a lot of increased engagement, and I want to use that to the benefit of Nashville community. So I've started this kind of Ask Bugs session that I host weekly. This Saturday at 11 a.m., I'll be speaking and answering questions from community members, but I will also have my own state representative, Reverend Dr. Harold M. Love, who will be talking about state-level decisions that could impact MNPS. So please feel free to log on. This is going to be held virtually via Zoom. The information is on my Facebook page, but again, if you're not social media savvy and you just want the direct link, please feel free to email me and I will email you the link there. If you have questions that you would want us to prepare to answer before then, please just send them to me. You know what? Be there no further business. There's so much more I could say, but this meeting is adjourned. Thank you.
This has been a service of the Metro Nashville Network. If you would like to see this presentation again, or for more information about this and other programs, visit nashville.net.